The United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon is in Tehran to take part in the summit of the non-aligned movement. That's a bloc of countries that don't consider themselves in union with the US. Washington has voiced criticism of the UN chief's visit to Iran and of the gathering in general. Well, let's discuss this with author and journalist Afshin Rattansi. He's joining me live from London. Afshin, Washington didn't want Ban Ki-moon to go to Iran at all, but he's not just attending the summit, he's also meeting with the country's president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, as well as top officials, including the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. So what are his intentions here?
Well, certainly the leaks we're getting are that Obama, or at least people from the State Department, desperately tried to get in touch with Ban Ki-moon, urging that he didn't go to Tehran. I have to say, this is a moment of great courage by Ban Ki-moon as the United States tries and ramps up the pressure along with NATO countries, because he and, 118, 120 nations are all showing that courage by going to Tehran and saying, look, we don't want another war in the Middle East.
And the US State Department has said it really didn't think that Iran was deserving of this high-level presence of those attending. What do you make of that statement?
I mean, quite unbelievable that a country that has created so many wars since, even since the last non-aligned summit. They have ministerial summits, they have leaders summits. I was actually at one in Tehran not a few years ago myself. And at the same time that this summit was going on in Tehran, with different world leaders all visiting, the mainstream media of the West saying Iran was increasingly isolated. I think with 120 countries represented, I think we can see who's isolated. And presumably that's why Washington desperately didn't want Ban Ki-moon to go there.
So what about the tensions in the Middle East, Syria in particular? Upon arrival, he said the Islamic Republic does actually play a crucial role in dealing with regional and international issues like Syria. In what way does it?
Well, Iran is now proposing a Syria plan, and we must remember that it is one of the regional powers there. We have the Iraqi head there, the head of state. We have people from Afghanistan, Hamid Karzai, let alone Latin America. It is the global South meeting together like they did, I suppose, arguably in 1955 at the Bandung summit against the old Cold War powers. And their views regarding any type of peace in the Middle East will hold far more sway than any imposed views from London, Washington, or Brussels. And I suppose the way that they react is by not covering it in the mainstream media as much. Most of the news here in London at the moment is about Mitt Romney and his wife. They won't be covering this summit.
The UN Security Council has clearly failed so far over the Syrian crisis. Do you think some sort of resolution, some sort of idea, concrete idea, could come out of this meeting in Tehran?
Well, it'll be thwarted, and attempts will be made to thwart any new deal, any new peace talks that come out of what is happening in Tehran, because the United States and NATO do not want any type of carve-up or sovereignty to remain with non-aligned movement nations. So it's a great pity, and I don't know, I hope those capitals, those NATO capitals, will get increasingly more frightened by what is happening as the global South comes closer and closer together in their attempts at trying to overthrow what is basic Western hegemony. But the danger lies, ever-present danger, as Obama steps up with his proxy Israel to try and destroy any kind of peace that could be in the Middle East.
Of course, tensions don't just lie with Iran's alliance with Syria, but of course the nuclear issue. Iran's president, interestingly enough, has granted permission for foreign delegations attending the summit to visit the nuclear enrichment facility in the Natanz. Now, that's one plant at the heart of the country's nuclear dispute. Just briefly, Afshin, how do you assess that move? Could that perhaps ease tensions over the nuclear issue?
Well, I'm having sort of conflicting reports on that, because they did say that earlier, and then I think they've gone back on it. So we're not absolutely sure that's happening, as is my understanding. But Ban Ki-moon is showing that whatever pressure he gets from NATO powers, UN Security Council members, except for China and Russia, to try and, I don't know, create a war on Iran over supposed nuclear weapons, Ban Ki-moon visiting the country shows enough, hopefully, to people, his staff, technically, at the IAEA in Vienna, that he doesn't want the bombing of Iran by NATO because of alleged nuclear weapons.
Really good to talk to you, Afshin. Thank you very much indeed for joining us live there in London. Author and journalist Afshin Rattansi.
Thank you.